Today's guest is Kristin Lingstadt. Here's our job talk with a hairstylist.
Welcome to the Job Talk podcast, where we talk with people who love their jobs. Our guests open up about their challenges, surprises, and secrets to success in their industries. Through conversation, we explore their careers, past work experiences, and the education that got them to where they are now.
I always love talking to people that own their own businesses, because not only are you applying your trade, but you're also owning and running a business, which are two entirely different things. But I want to start your story by asking you, what kind of a high school student were you?
I was not the greatest high school student, if we're considering education. Academics. So I was really average, like 60s and 70s. I disliked math, but I loved art and English and creativity. But I was a hard worker. I worked all through high school too. Even then, I was ready to get a job or a few jobs and be working.
When you graduated from high school, did you immediately start a path down to what you're doing now, or
yes.
Did you do something else? Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So because in high school, like in the grade 11 and 12, Jasper Place has the hair program, like the cosmetology program. So I was doing that already in high school and finished that program, and then just went straight from there to an apprenticeship program at Marvell College.
At Marvell. Okay. And that, what's involved with your education at Marvell? Am I pronouncing it correctly? Marvell?
Yeah, Marvell College. So it depends on what level you're at, but because I had the 2 years of high school, I just had to do about 4 months of schooling there. If you were to go in fresh out of high school with no high school cosmetology, you'd do a whole year education program there. And it's involved. It's everything. It's hair cutting, coloring, theory, everything that you need to know. A lot of chemistry about hair.
And what is the class like when you're going through that program? Are they bringing people? I don't think you jump immediately into working with people,
hair.
Do you? Or
no.
No.
So all sorts of people come from like small towns around Edmonton, all over Alberta even, will come to Marvell College. So you'll start with, because I had already worked on people with hair in the high school, all those initial programs were pretty fast track. You just have to show you that you know all your theory. So you would start with theory, the basics of hair, even the basics of skin and beauty and taking care of yourself that way. And then you would move into just more theory. So then the chemistry of color, the chemistry and angles, everything about hair cutting, basically, and technique. You learn all those techniques, and then you eventually get mannequins, and you would start on mannequins and practicing, and you're in a group of maybe 15 people. And so you have to pass through all of that and know all your theory on paper and on a fake head first. And then you would slowly, in between each module, they integrate you into a salon setting that they have set up there, and you basically have to get everything checked with a professional like your teacher, your coach, and they would take you step by step. So you'd start with just haircuts or just roller sets or just styles, and then gradually work up. But they're teaching you how to formulate, how to mix color, how to weigh your color and your peroxide or whatever chemicals you're using as you go.
How nervous are you when you're working with a person for the very first time?
Not nervous at all now. And
not now.
No, but actually I was never nervous. I was never nervous, even in school. It was fun, and I didn't care if you mess up. There's always a way to fix things in my job. Yeah. If you're creative, naturally creative, you can find ways to fix it. So that was never a problem for me. I would say that was probably one of my strengths going through college. My teachers would often grab me to help other students who maybe were a little bit more nervous and support them.
Do you think that's your personality, or do you think it was the education and classes that you were doing that gave you the confidence that when you first worked with someone that you were ready to do it?
This is definitely my personality. I think a lot of hairdressers are artists or extroverted people. And so I was just ready to get into, and I'm super creative likewise. So, I mean, really, I did art a lot and did a lot of crafting as a kid, and even was cutting hair when I was in daycare, really. And so I was already very comfortable with the fabric of hair.
Okay. Are you called a hairstylist, or what is the proper
you can call
job
it a
title?
hairstylist, hairdresser, hair designer. People have all sorts of terms now.
Hairdresser feels a little older. Like, I think we'll go with hairstylist. So you graduate from Marvel. Let's talk about your first experience working in the trade, in industry.
Yeah. So when you're in the college, often salons will come to the college and they'll put up ads or they'll recruit even. So I was top honors and I was graduated early, ready to go out early. So right away, my teacher just was like, hey, this salon wants a girl. Do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So I just went, and that was a salon called Evolve, and it was right off 124th Street in a really, really old house built in like the 1800s, like so old. And so that was a really funky, cool setting to kind of start at. I wasn't there for long, and then I swapped over to another busy salon downtown called Avanti, which was in the city for years and years and years and really well known.
How does it work when you're styling for somebody else? Like, I know we're going to get into the fact that you own your own business now, but when you're working from someone else, what's involved? Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, straight out of school, like you pay your dues and you work under stylists. So you'll often, people call a technician. So you'll support, you'll watch them do a lot of haircuts, you'll mix color, you'll rinse clients, wash hair, make coffees and lattes, do runs to the product store, like that kind of stuff. You really do that. And then you'll slowly integrate and work on your own hair and your own clients. And that's actually super integral. That's like a really important part, I think, of becoming a really good hairstylist. And then there's different options. There's commission-based hairstyling, there's hourly pay, there's chair rentals, so you can pay a monthly fee. There's actually so many different structures now in Edmonton. I would say your best bet would be like a chair rental.
Do you think that's most common, a chair rental?
No? Like if you were to work in a hair salon at a mall or in that type of setting, like a strip mall or a Chatters, you're probably getting an hourly pay with a commission base. And those have been most common mostly. I would say it is shifting now into more chair rental because the hairstyling world has really taken off since the integration of social media platforms like Pinterest and Instagram. And so we're way more able to get our name out there and to recruit our own clients and things like that. So I think chair rentals are definitely what stylists want more of, especially if you want to be successful. You want to make, obviously, the most money you can make for your time.
Let's talk about some of your positive experiences. Has there been, have you worked on anything that you're most proud of?
Yeah. I think early in my career working at that salon Avanti, we were really involved in the bridal expo downtown, bridal shows, bridal hair, and that's super creative and super fun, almost avant-garde side of hairdressing. And we worked with Fashion Week, Edmonton Fashion Week, and one of my projects that I worked on that I was telling you about a couple weeks ago was with Betsy Johnson, who was a designer, and that was super fun. And it was just so creative. A lot of work, a lot of hours, but a high energy environment and semi-famous people and stuff. So that was really fun. And then even I moved into my own bridal company for a few years and worked with another salon in the city doing a lot of weddings and just tons of fun updo styles and more creative styles. So that was fun. And then too, working at Avanti, like we worked with the Oilers. We did a lot of like the Oilers hair and yeah. So I worked on a few Oilers in my early days, which was super fun. No Oilers that anyone would know now.
Oh, I would. And for our listeners that aren't from Edmonton, the Oilers are a National Hockey League team, and in Canada, hockey is everything. You mentioned that it was a lot of work, but is this something that you love to do, that you weren't feeling stress with that? And I know we discussed your personality. You seem quite confident. Was there stress when you were working with Betsy Johnson?
You definitely have a little bit of like heightened excitement and stuff, but we had such a good team. Like we were like a team of stylists of like 15 of us going together. So, I mean, it was busy, and we've created vision plans and vision boards and planned it out and mapped out this whole thing of creativity. But, so no, I wasn't nervous, just excited.
You have a skill set that you could basically take anywhere in the world. Have you utilized that skill set by maybe traveling? Yeah,
actually. And even with traveling and going through, your 20s, and I did a backpack trip through Southeast Asia and Australia, and I took my scissors, and opportunities did arise that you could cut hair on the beach or elsewhere for pay or drinks or just for fun. So it was really good. And then going to Australia, I did end up getting a job, and it actually did help me even to get immigration papers to move there full time, because at the time they were kind of looking for hairstylists. So that was a great opportunity and super fun. It's just so fun.
When you were traveling with your scissors, how did you get your first clients was it Thailand? Is that the country?
These were clients, like you're hanging out, you're talking, what do you do? Where are you from? I'm from Canada. I'm a hairstylist. Oh my gosh, I need a haircut. Like it was like that. It was like, I'll give you, 200 baht to cut my hair right now. It was very like just random and under the table kind of stuff. Yeah. I didn't actually have a job in Thailand cutting hair, but I still used my skill set, made friends and relationships, connections.
Okay. Yeah. And where in Australia were you, and how long were you there?
Yeah. So I worked at a salon that was in Melbourne, and the salon was called The Edge. And I wasn't there very long. I had set up for a program, but when you travel, things happen and surprises happen and things change. So I didn't stay there very long, but it was downtown Melbourne. It was really hustling, really bustling. And I had just come off of, coming home from Thailand. So it didn't end up fitting with where my direction was taking me, but it was still a really great experience learning and being in that setting there.
So you finished your time in Australia. Did you come back to Canada, and what made you decide to work for yourself and run your own business?
So when I came back to Canada, I did go back to my old salon that I had left for a little while. And then things changed throughout the industry and through my family and my life. And I had a friend who just said, hey, I have a space. Like, why don't you come work for me? And at the time, my salon that I was at was really going through some big shifts and some big changes. So it was a good time to kind of maybe take that as an opportunity. That was really scary. But with my skill set with hairstyling, I always knew like I could always go back to a big salon. Like they love good hairstylists. I have a clientele. And so it was like, what do I have to lose? I should try this. So I went out on my own and tried, and it was great. I didn't look back.
What are some of the challenges operating your own business?
Mm-hmm. So definitely you are everything. So you are the cleaner. I am, because I'm on my own in a studio space of my own. So I'm the cleaner, I'm the receptionist, I'm the email contact, I'm all those things, and the hairstylist. So you do take on a lot more responsibility that way, and that's all communication. That's just communication with people, with the public, with your style, with your clients. And so that's just a learning curve that you kind of have to grow in as time goes on. But if you're a good person, I think, and treat your clients well and try to take responsibility for your work, it's something you can do.
Do you advertise at all, or how do you find your clients? Is it word of mouth?
Yeah. So in the early days, there was no Facebook or Instagram when I first started. It was very new. So everything was word of mouth, 100%. And doing programs like referral programs and having your clients kind of work for you and send you good clients was like the base of my whole business. And even to this day, I still have some of those first clients. So that's been a long time. Now with social media and Facebook, you can utilize those tools way more. And people they do such a great job helping you to branch out. They have other challenges, I think, to navigate, but they can be really helpful.
Do you think it's easier now with all of the social media?
Good
Do you think it's easier to get your name and your
I do. I think it's easier, but I also think the competition is way more accessible as well. And so people have a lot of options. They can really Google anything, pull up a hashtag and find 10 different stylists. So it's different. Whereas when you're working on like a referral basis, someone that you trust who has beautiful hair already has a relationship with you. And so it's just a little bit stronger of a connection. Social media connects through photos and through a presented image, whereas like a referral is like coming from the heart of someone who already likes you.
Let's talk about some of the jobs within the job. You're not only a hairstylist, you're an owner of a company, but I'm going to take a guess that you also play a role as a bit of maybe a psychologist as you're talking to people. Do you like people, Kristin?
I do. I
do.
love people.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. There are definitely colorful people out there. And I wouldn't say psychologist, but maybe counselor and listener. A good listener. I listen a lot, and give advice when advice is asked for or sought after. But you definitely wear a lot of hats, especially working with older population or full families. There's a lot of dynamics that can come into play. Like if I cut a wife's hair and a husband's hair, or kids and like things like that, you play the role of all sorts of things other than just hairdresser, because you are an influence in their life. So it's fun though, listening and hearing people. I mean, there are moments of sadness. Like I've walked through some stuff with clients over the years that is heavy, personal things and personal lives, but I'm honored.
It could be dangerous too, no? Are like, how often do you cut yourself? Have you ever cut a client?
I have had a client before. Working downtown, I cut a businessman who was literally in a business suit. And I cut his ear actually right here, doing a haircut on his lunch break. And it just bled and bled and bled and kept bleeding. And I thought, he's never going to come back. He's getting this haircut for free, obviously. But he did come back for years and years. And we laughed about it. But it sucked. And I've cut myself so many times, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so there is an element of danger in this job. I'm glad that he came back to you and didn't leave because of it. What do you love about being a hairstylist?
What do I love? I do love the creativity and the control of my time, my job, and even now I've been doing it for a long time. I can even choose what kind of hair I want to do and what I don't want to do and things like that. So I do love that. But like I said before, I do love people. And sometimes I find the connection for me is funner. Building relationship with people is funner sometimes even than cutting hair. I mean, the gift of giving someone new hair, a physical transformation within 3 hours, is awesome. Like I've had clients text me back and say, I feel so much better and lighter and just ready to take on my day after this new hair. Like that is amazing. But when a client texts you and says, hey, you really listened to me and gave me some awesome advice, I'm so grateful. I like that a lot.
Kristin, how do you handle constructive criticism, or maybe if you've done something that a client maybe doesn't appreciate? How do you handle that?
Humility. I really am working for my client. They are the boss. It's their hair, and I want them to love it because, like I said, it helps them on their day-to-day, how they feel about themselves. So I just, early on, you take responsibility and you offer to fix it in any way that you can. And there usually is things you can do. If it's a personality clash, that can be a little bit harder. And sometimes you just have to be okay to say, maybe I'm not the right fit for you. But often you give it a few tries, and more times than not, you can figure it out.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody considering a career in being a hairstylist?
I think I would say in the early days, find a team that you can work with that you love their work or you love what they're doing and that's inspiring and it's fun and you can learn with them, and do that for a couple of years and really make sure you love what you're doing and your job. Find a mentor that wants to work with you and pour into you and build that confidence. I think the confidence in the beginning is really key if you want a long career in hairstyling.
And what do you love about running your own business?
I love the freedom of my time. I get to decide my time and how much I work, and that's just huge, just for life in general, your quality of life. I have young kids, I have a family, that's important to me as well. So having the ability to control my schedule is awesome.
What is one thing that you wish you knew before you began your career as a hairstylist?
Probably how invested I would become even in some of those relationships. You really build rapport and friendships with people, and I wish I would have known that. Like, I thought it would be all business and all clients and client and hairstylist, but actually you become so invested in people's lives. And I'm not sure I would have changed that or what I would have done to maybe prepare myself, but I wish I would have known that a little earlier on.
What are some of the surprises that you've experienced throughout your career?
Yeah, I think some of the surprises are how surprised you are as your career evolves and as clients come into your life and as they leave your life for many different reasons, how that affects me as a person. I was surprised when someone moved, or if a client leaves you for any reason, how much that affected me, not just as losing their hair, but losing them as a friend or as someone that you would see. Because as a hairstylist, you see people, you get to know their life and their family life and everything, and you kind of develop relationship there. So I was surprised how much that affected me.
Kristin, are there any myths or misconceptions about being a hairstylist that you could debunk?
Mm-hmm. I think one that's definitely really prevalent now is bringing in photos. It's always awesome to get a photo for inspiration for hair and where you want to go. But with the technology today, like I always call it the elusive filter, a photo filter. So Pinterest and Instagram are amazing. People use these beautiful lights, and then they use these high-tech cameras and they put a filter on something and it creates this beautiful photo finish. And I think hairstylists today we've had to up our game. Even the products have had to come up, because to achieve that type of look all the time can be really hard. So people have an expectation based on a photo that's fake, and the hairstylist is supposed to deliver the desired look, which sometimes is impossible. So the myth of the filtered hair, it's a myth.
Kristin, I just want to thank you for coming on the show today. I think you've offered some great advice to the listeners.
You're welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to the Job Talk podcast. For more information, please visit us at thejobtalk.com.